I see a lot of concept decks come across my desk, and a lot of them don't really catch my fancy. I'm going to be honest with you guys. But every once in a while, I'll see a concept being played on the internet, and it actually really catches my attention. So, in the feature match with DBZ Malice, you actually saw this level 9 deck. And essentially what I did was, I had to go track down the guy that was playing the deck. Because when I originally saw that level 9s were getting support, I wanted to mess around with them, but I wasn't necessarily sure what you want to do to kind of make the deck, because let's call it what it is. Like, it's not level 10s. Level 10s literally with trains got the best route and support, and you kind of look at level 9s and you're like, oh man, like what do they honestly have? So your go-to boss monster down here, of course, I mean, true king of all calamities. Also the fact that he does have the conditions of 2 or more level 9s. So essentially what this deck is you're kind of just level 9 turbo. Your entire existence in life is to turbo to a level 9 monster, preferably get to Ib so that you can get to your search card. I think the best hand that I kind of saw from this deck was Summoner Monk into Treasure Panda, and then of course, you know, you go from there. Like, Summoner Monk plus Spell Card, I think is one of the best hands that you can actually have in this deck. Now, unfortunately, you do have to play a couple of bricks in your deck, and it's not necessarily a bad thing that you gotta play some bricks, but you just have to understand, for all intents and purposes for playing this deck, that yeah, you're gonna have some bricks. But yeah, your whole essential life purpose in deck is to basically Summoner Monk, discard spell, synchro into Ib. Okay, once you synchro into Ib, of course, she has the effect of when this card is synchro summoned, you can add 1 World Legacy card from your deck to your hand. So they have this fantastic little card called World Legacy Burgoning. And what you actually want to do with this is, so essentially synchro into Vermilion Dragon Mech after that, because, you know, level 5 tuner plus your Summoner Monk will then let you travel into Mech. And then you use World Legacy Burgoning, which does 2 things. You can special summon a level 9 monster from your hand, or you can target a level 9 monster you control, special summon 2 level 9 monsters with a different original type and attribute from that monster, and different names from each other, but they cannot attack and they'll die during the end phase. So basically what we're trying to do is 2-card combo on out this guy. And of course we're going to use this guy to kind of essentially stop our opponent from playing the game. Now, of course, since we can do some relatively cool things, we can make this guy. This is the big, fresh World Regalia Demigear. So it can't be used as link material. Link summon of this card is unaffected, or this link summon card is unaffected by other monster effects. You can only use each of the following effects of this guy once per turn. So during your main phase, if this card was link summoned using 3 monsters with different types and attributes, you can nuke the field. Okay? It's pretty good. And then the other effect is if your opponent special summon a monster or monsters from the extra deck, you can special summon 1 World Legacy monster from your deck. Not necessarily the particular best other second effect, but a fucking free 3,500 body that's Link 3 floating around the board does kind of leave a bad taste in your opponent's mouth. Like, now this, like I said, this isn't exactly your best go-to. I mean, it's good, don't get me wrong. It does make things a little bit better. But then you've got things like, of course, the boss monster. Like I said, this is what you want to be going into in all games, because you are essentially just turbo level 9 the deck. Now, you do have other things that you can go to. Of course, we have Time Lord Purgator of Volgate. Of course, it's 1 tuner plus 1 or more non-tuner to make this guy. So he's completely generic. Can't be destroyed by battle or card effects. You take no battle damage from attacks involving this card. And at the end of the damage step, this card was special summoned from the extra deck. You can banish all monsters your opponent controls, and also for the rest of this turn, any battle damage your opponent takes is halved. And then once per turn during the end phase, this card was, or this effect was activated, special summon as many monsters that were banished by this effect as possible to your opponent's field. It's kind of, you move stuff out of the way, you don't have to deal with it anymore. Also, another level 9 synchro that this deck honestly needs. Like I said, level 9's kind of got the shaft in time, but the more and more support that we actually kind of get for this deck, I think over time it'll begin to grow. But overall, it's not too bad. So let's dig on into the deck profile. So we have triple copies of Astral, Nightmare, and Daily. Now remember, this is a Nightmare, but monsters you control are level 9s, can't be destroyed by card effects. And then if the total rating of all link monsters on the field is 8 or more, quick effect, you can special summon this card from your hand. And then if this card is special summoned while your opponent controls more link monsters than you do, you can send all link monsters on the field to the graveyard. They actually gave level 9s a free link disruption that actually can summon itself. I think this card is pretty nuts for what it wants to do in the current game, which is nuke links and go. Now, of course, we have one copy of Gamma Seal, just a lower level kaiju that you can kind of beat over if you need to, especially if you need to give it to your opponent. Also, it's another water to fuel our friend the True King. Now, one copy of Global, just another extender. This plus level 4 does get into Idea, which I think a lot of people kind of forget that, actually. Now, we have 2 copies of Mariani. True King, special summon, do things. Yeah, it's essential. Triple copies of Summoner Monk, once again, kind of in the same way here. This is this plus spell, like I said, gets you so far into the game that it is crazy value. Literally normals the deck. Like, it's so good. Now, of course, one copy of the big kaiju, special summoning clauses, things like that. It's great. And then, of course, 2 copies of Lightning Strike Kaiju, once again, level 9s, right? Like, also the fact that I believe you can just bring this out and have it in your graveyard for the whole game is pretty good. We have 2 copies of Treasure Panda. Do not play 3 of this, all right? Like, you're already going to dead draw this thing, potentially, depending on what you've got going on in your deck. So, I mean, just be aware of things. And then True Kings, we have 2 copies of the Fire, triple copies of the Water. I think these are the ratios that you want to be on. Definitely do not want to overextend on this a little bit too much. Bad things can happen. Now, we do have the World Legacy Guard Dragon. So if your opponent would special summon from the extra deck, you can special summon 1 World Legacy from the deck. So you actually can special summon this guy. So it's a monster your opponent controls. Will lose 500 attack and defense for each dragon monster you control. And then you can banish 2 normal monsters from your hand or graveyard. Special summon this card from your hand, okay. This card on the field be destroyed by battle or card effect. You can add 1 level 9 monster from your graveyard to your hand who's different original type and attribute than this card. So this does float, essentially. And you have free means to do it, so that's perfectly fine. We have 1 copy of Flamville Garden, 1 copy of the Water Spirit. Just particular choices for this deck. And then 2 copies of Called by the Grave. You want to make sure that you're able to play the game. If your opponent can disrupt you in any sort of means, you're going to have a bad time. And I don't want to get hand-trapped when I'm playing this deck. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Seems like a bad idea. Triple copies of Dragonic Diagram, the heart and soul of this deck, fundamentally. I do like this a lot. Like, you have so many cool engines you can do. Also, like diagramming the global. Pretty good. 2 copies of either Nuke the Board or Go Search a Kaiju, depending on the situation that you find yourself in. 1 copy of Monster Reborn. This card says win condition. This card is broken in this deck, like, actually. Extending is great. We have 2 copies of Terraforming for Diagram. 1 copy of Upstart Goblin to further thin into the deck. And then, of course, we have triple copies of World Legacy Bargaining. This card is your win con. Like I said, as long as you can get the Vermilion Dragon mech and then special summon 2 more guys, like, you're just kind of free. I wish they would have allowed them to attack, but, you know, you can still trigger effects. So, I mean, for the most part, I think they balanced this correctly. 2 copies of Strike, just for effective combo means, and then 1 copy of Return, just to go search for revivability, actually. Remember, you can revive the True Kings. Now, the extra deck, we have 1 copy of Demagia. Of course, I don't know how many times this comes up. I just know you can kind of make it. 1 copy of the Phoenix. 2 copies of Mermaid. I like it. 1 copy of Cerberus for main monster removal. 1 copy of the Blackluster Soldier, the Chaos Warrior. Just for OTK potential, honestly. I almost kind of want to play Unicorn in this deck, but I understand why he plays this. We have 2 copies of VFD, aka Win Condition Dragon. 1 copy of Inner Blafnir. 1 copy of Vermilion Dragon Mech. 1 Trishula. The fact that this is 3 monsters kind of sucks, but I mean, hey, you can still Trish depending on the situation. Like, if you get to this guy and you hard open, what's it called? You can take a free card out of your opponent's hand. 1 copy of Vulgate, 2 copies of Maiko, and, of course, 1 copy of the Cloud Castle. Wrapping up this deck profile. So, guys, please, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think about this deck. This is very much in the testing phases, and I do want to thank the original creator of this deck for sending this over. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. And, well, guys, that's all I got for this video. All right, guys, I'm out.
The ride never, well, truly ends. Thank you, patrons. Without you guys, I don't know what I'd be wearing in these videos. I might be a Truffle Shuffle incident all over again. Guys, please also check out Vanquil40 for some awesome Vanguard content. Some other interesting stuff you might find up here on the left or in the description as well. Thanks for watching.